I could promise
Why wouldn't they be?
How about I'm willing to bet you?
You think the Blackhawk helicopters are black in an Arctic environment?
How much money you want to put on this? That in this environment, this
$5. I got $5 that says this thing was probably painted white.
Welcome back to Under Oath. Snowmobiler Jeff Smith crashed into a parked Blackhawk. For those who don't know what a Blackhawk is, it's a military helicopter.
Are those big, Jeff? Are they bigger than a van?
You love this.
Is it bigger than a van?
Hold on. There's this place called Albert Farms. Got a snowmobile buzzing around. He somehow's on this property. Okay. Well, the government is also on this property. So the Blackhawk comes down, lands. This dude runs into it. And now he's suing the government for owning the Blackhawk and the farm.
Hold on. How long was the helicopter on the ground before he ran into it? Like, is this like mere seconds? Like he's traveling really quick and he can't see the helicopter as it's coming down and he hits it? Or was it sitting there for an hour and he just ran into it because he wasn't looking where he was going?
Okay, I want you to picture this way.
I know it's camouflage. Was it camouflage? Like, was it all white? Because it was snowy?
It's dark. It doesn't matter. He didn't hit it because the grass was green. It says in the snow.
Well, doesn't he have headlights?
What do you think? The Blackhawk was white?
Doesn't he have?
You think it was a white Blackhawk?
It could have been if it was camouflage for the area.
Just so you know, there's no. I have never seen a white Blackhawk.
Do you see camouflage ones?
Yes, green ones.
Okay,
and desert ones.
So they can paint them.
So you think the Blackhawks, in case we go to Russia,
if they go into like an Arctic condition, yeah, okay. I bet they're painted white.
Okay. I can promise
Why wouldn't they be?
How about I'm willing to bet you?
You think the Blackhawk helicopters are black in an Arctic environment?
How much money you want to put on this? That in this environment, this
$5. I got $5 that says this thing was probably painted white.
See, he does that because he goes, but you know something? He'll never have a $5 bill on him.
I don't actually.
It took me years. We had this bet one time, and he goes, "Hey," he used to always, because Craig had high bills at the time. You know, we were stupid. We had stupid money back then. And Craig only had big bills. And when he would borrow $5 to $10, $20, eventually it would get up to the point where it's like $200, $300. And I'd go, "Hey, Craig, you got that money?" And the person he was with at the time goes, "Oh, well, he puts all his money in the glove box." And I was sitting in the front seat one time, and we're all partners in the back seat. And I go, "Craig, you owe me." And Matt goes, "Hey, he owes me money too." And I reach into the glove box, and he has like Franklin's galore in here. And we start divvying up this Franklin's.
I had $1,500.
And Craig was like,
I had $1,500 in $100 bills.
And he was so mad that we actually found his stash, and he had to pay us.
You don't want me to break 100 if I'm going in to like get a Coke or something.
Than that now. But okay, we're going to get back to this. The fact is, the award in this case, the guy was looking for $3.3 million in damages, even though he wanted $9.5 million. Somehow the judge, which is hard for me to understand, the judge made a ruling over responsibility percentages.
You know, if you sue in certain situations, we know this because we've sued the United States Post Office before.
Yeah.
And you don't get a jury.
No, you
have a judge decide, and those are generally a lot harder to win. Good.
Damages are about making choices based on what you feel is right or wrong, and putting yourself out there and thinking about things, and that's what juries do. Anytime there's maybe an implied issue you might have, in this situation, the judge ruled that the government was 60% responsible for where they parked their Blackhawk.
Well, hold on. They're not 60% responsible where they parked their Blackhawk. They're 60% responsible for the fact that there was an accident. Well, that's what the judge said.
The farm is included in this too.
No, the other part was contributory negligence on the part of...
They didn't find the farm wrong at all?
Well, I don't know for sure.
Well, that's what I mean. It says 60% responsible is ruled, was by the government was responsible. So I guess maybe they said Smith was 40% responsible. Now, here's the problem. His speed, tinted goggles at night, and alcohol consumption.
Having been on the receiving end of defense attorneys' arguments before, they will exaggerate those things. Alcohol consumption could have been a beer 3 hours before the crash. I mean, it could be 9 beers all the way up until the crash. We don't know.
Smith also settled separately with the farms. So they had been paid by the farms. There's no way to tell how much he got. but the farm played a role by enabling both activities. So the farm rented out it to the government and also rented it out to snowmobiles. So how, if I don't know about snowmobiles, am I responsible if they say, hey, you can land on my property?
Well, it says Smith also said it separately with Albert Farms. It doesn't give an amount. So that might be the cost of defense.
But how if I'm the government?
Here's $10,000, go away.
If I'm the government, I don't know you're double dipping on the rental of the property. They say, hey, you can land on my property. I land on the property. It's snowing. They're going, well, you should have known this is an area. No, I paid these people to use their property to land on it.
Well, yeah, I said you can land on my property.
I didn't land on the snowmobile.
But don't land on the snowmobile trail.
I didn't drop it on the snowmobile.
Yeah,
I landed
just don't get
in
on
an
the trail.
area.
Just
Like,
don't
how
get
is
on
he
the trail.
supposed to know it's a trail? It's snow.
That's true. I don't know. How would you know that, especially if it's snowing?
Yes.
Wouldn't the trail be covered with snow?
I guess so. Whose responsibility was it to make sure that this area was safe for snowmobiles? The government's or the guy who owns the farm?
Well, when you put it that way, the only answer is Albert Farms. Since it's their property and they have snowmobile trails on their property and they know people are going to be using the snowmobile trails, it's Albert Farms' responsibility to make sure that the trails are safe.
Okay.
But he didn't do anything unreasonable. Yes, that's his duty, right? Let's go through the elements.
What, the helicopter pilot? Or
I don't know. I'm not there yet. I'm still on Albert Farms, and he's got a duty. Yes.
Albert wrote the check. They knew they were wrong.
Did he do something that was negligent? What did he do that was unreasonable?
He double dipped.
He allowed the military to land their helicopters
he didn't
on
tell
his
the military,
property.
hey, guess what?
Don't land
I'm
in these.
also renting. I'm also renting to
areas.
snowmobilers.
The government had no idea snowmobilers were using that area.
No idea. Just government guys landing, doing their exercises, everything else. You know. Now here's the thing. Their argument was that when they landed on this trail, these helicopters should have known that it was a snowmobile trail. And I don't know what kind of evidence you can put forward.
I don't know how the judge found that this guy was.
I don't know. I really don't, because
was the judge and the lawyer were they like roommates?
I don't know.
In college,
And here's the thing: if you're on a snowmobile trail, how much? And I'm going to tell you something right now. I was in the military. I used to jump out of Blackhawks. I've repelled out of a Blackhawk before. Do you know how much area a Blackhawk needs to land? It's not like a small thing. They just don't pop down in the radius. Let's say that. First off, the radius, we can agree, has to be significantly bigger than the wingspan of the rotors. So nobody's going to drop down in an area where a breeze can knock it into a tree. So we agree it has to be a bigger area. You just don't land in, like, let's say, a 8-foot circle or a 20-foot circle.
Sure.
It needed space. So imagine, I'm just being logical. This space had to be pretty big for this thing to land in. Now, if you're the snow, how much space do you need to stop? He sees this. I mean, he claimed the snowmobile claimed he didn't see it? He didn't have enough time to stop?
It had to have been a big open area, and there has to have been a giant helicopter right in front of him.
That could fit in this big area.
Why wouldn't he see? Well, I guess if you're drunk and you have tinted goggles on.
You and I were driving back from Tennessee. It was dark. We were in these crappy areas. I think there's a little fog in here. We couldn't see the road very well. And Craig was driving going, where are we?
I don't know where we were.
But I was yelling at Siri because we couldn't, Siri was sending us on some weird routes.
You ever see that movie Salem's Lot? That's where we were.
Yeah, well, we
were the road behind Salem's Lot. That's where we were.
We were not, it said to go that way. But the whole point was this, is that, when you can't see as well, you have to slow down. You have to do these things. And if I'm parked, if I landed in an area that's big enough for me to land, then it couldn't have been like this small trail where you couldn't see and everything else like that. I don't know how he found the government 60% responsible. Unless they were told, hey, listen, there are trails.
They had to have been told. Which, if they were told, then Albert Farms guy would have discharged his duty by making sure the military was aware of the snowmobile trails.
Now, here's the deal. I want to change this fact a little bit and just play it out differently. Let's say you got the co-pilot, not the co-pilot, but just say a passenger on the Blackhawk goes out. He's he's going to the bathroom, men's style, and he gets hit by the snow. The snowmobile hits him.
Well,
who does he sue?
Who does who? The guy peeing?
Yes.
The military guy?
Yeah, the military guy.
Doesn't he sign something when he joins the military that he basically belongs to the U.S. government?
I'm talking about, could he sue the guy on the snowmobile? Yes.
Yeah.
We absolutely would.
Yeah, because why aren't you watching where you're going? I was right in front of you. I had to have been in front of you. The snowmobile is too slim to like accidentally hit me with some side of it.
Now that we know the facts of this case.
But couldn't you turn around and say to the guy, hey, Mr. Pier, you don't hear this snowmobile bearing down on you?
The blades on the Blackhawk were moving.
Were they?
Yeah.
If they were.
I can say that it was. But here's the thing, and I want to play this back to you because this kills me. We mentioned earlier how difficult it is for a judge in a situation like this to give money because we know that, they tend to be a little less lenient than jurors. Jurors will go, no, I think he should get paid. Well, judge goes, well, hold on. The government, they do that backpedal thing. This judge gave out $3.3 million in a situation like this.
Well, perhaps.
How bad was the government attorney is what I'm wondering. Because I think I could have made a pretty good argument about how this guy should have seen the helicopter.
Well, when you're dealing with a judge, I don't think it really matters who the attorneys are.
Sometimes it does. We've been there before.
Well, the skill of the attorney is not at issue when the judge is deciding.
There you go. He was saying who the actual attorney is, not the skill of the attorney. And based on that, I think we taught you something.